Fabulous.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'd ask everybody who's not a town board member to please mute. Thank you for coming. Please mute yourself. Thank you. A couple of people coming, still coming in. Okay, it's 6:02. I would ask everybody who's not a town board member to please mute himself. Welcome to the Town of Rhinebeck regular town board meeting. It is April 11th. Would everybody like to join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We've just had a 202, 213, 2134. And who is it, please?
This is Annie Butler. I live on Star Drive in the village.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm just going to ask you to mute yourself.
Yes, I will. Thanks.
Sure. Okay. I need a motion to approve our prior minutes of March 14th, 2022 and March 21st, 2022 and March 28th, 2022. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Alan. May I have a second?
Second.
Yep.
Thank you, Ed, without glasses. Is there any discussion or any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. I just have a couple of announcements to make. One is that this is big news. We've been working on it for about 6 years. Josh and I had a meeting with Amtrak last week. They are going to begin the track work in the fall of 2023. After that, it will be 2 years before they finish the state of good repairs and the ADA compliance renovations at the station. They have, however, agreed to take over our pedestrian bridge in Rhinecliff, which is huge news for the town. They're going to take it over and rebuild it to spec. What is it called, Josh? Rise and...
Well, there's a lot of elements. You're talking about the ADA access from the upper parking lot?
No, I'm talking about the pedestrian bridge that Amtrak's taking over.
Oh, well, they're raising it so it's at entry level, so they don't have to have steps up to it. So the whole platform is being raised amongst other
Josh,
things.
I'm talking about the pedestrian bridge that we own that they're taking over.
My apologies.
That's
They'll be
okay.
changing that so that the rise and run is appropriate to building code and that the interval steps happen a minimum of every 12 feet.
And they'll restore it, do a historic restoration, and they will own it and maintain it for us, which
Well,
is
they're covering the top and lighting it, so it's a win.
fantastic news for the town. So we'll be working with Warren to transfer the deed on that, and we'll have information coming out about the timeline of the scheduled work at the station. Also, we're canceling our April 24th meeting. Our town clerks will be at clerk school for the 25th and 26th, and we are going to schedule a special town board meeting for Thursday the 21st at 5 p.m. In lieu of our meeting on the 24th. We need volunteers desperately for our Conservation Advisory Board. We also are looking for more applicants for our Citizen Zoning and Comprehensive Review Group, and we need a volunteer for our Board of Assessment Review. I think I have white pages up on all of those, what's entailed and the time commitment. I'll make sure that they're on the web tomorrow, maybe send them out in a blast. Please consider signing up. We need volunteer help desperately. Also, we've started up our community choice aggregate again with Hudson Valley Solar and Jewel. We had our first meeting last week, and we are having another meeting today following this meeting, and on the 3rd of May, at 7 PM, both on Zoom. You should join. Will only affect and only be available for town residents living outside the village. The village has to opt into this for village residents to be able to partake. Okay. Does anybody else, any other town board members have any announcements or?
The Easter egg hunt went off without a hitch, even though it was soaked.
Yeah, it was soaked. Good, thank you. I'd like a motion for 2022 100 appointing Sharon Sherrod to the CAB.
So moved.
Thank you, Charles.
Second.
Who's that?
Alan.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously, and I want to thank Sharon, who was a long time planning board member, for stepping forward for the Conservation Advisory Board. I think she'll be an amazing asset for the board and the town. So thank you, Sharon. I'd like a motion for 022-101 approve planting the pollinator garden at the Recreation Park tennis courts.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Ed. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Josh. Is there any discussion?
There's just a note that this is a holdover from last year. We're finally getting it done.
We're finally getting it done. Yes. And it should be planted before, I think Susie said before mid-June. So
Correct.
hopefully it'll get going right away, and any resurfacing of the tennis courts will not affect it.
Unaffected.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved unanimously. I'd like a motion for 022-102 approving the recreation event Rocking on the River.
Motion.
Move.
Thank you, Josh. First, Alan second. I just want to point out that they've asked us to rent a porta potty, but there is a porta potty down there already. There is a handicapped accessible porta potty at the
Doc.
right. So is that sufficient, Ed?
Should be, yes.
Great, terrific. Well, thanks to our rec volunteers for putting on this great event again. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Thanks, gentlemen. I'd like to make a motion or ask for a motion for 2022-103 for our summer 2022 rec hires. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Alan. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ed. Is there any discussion or any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2022-104 and resolution 2022-105. I'm doing them both together. It's to appoint Sarah Derbyshire as our deputy clerk, deputy tax collector, and deputy registrar of vital statistics. May I have a second? Thank
Second.
you, Ed. Just pointing out to everybody that the deputy clerk serves at the pleasure of the clerk. Joan is appointing Sarah. Sarah's been with us part-time in our accounting department and has done a terrific job, and we want to welcome her to a full-time job as our deputy clerk. So thank you, Sarah. Any questions or comments from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Again, thank you and congratulations. 2022-106, appointing Citizen Zoning and Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thanks, Josh. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alan. I would like to make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss the appointments to the committee.
Second.
Do you guys want to do, I mean, let's just do it now and keep it in order and come back. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor of going into executive session? Aye. Sarah, I don't know, you only have to invite the town board, please. Into the breakout room.
I may have to go help. Oh, yeah, join. Okay, good. We're good.
I don't have a join yet.
I don't even
I guess we will.
have a wave.
It's getting there. Joni, could you let Alan know maybe that we don't have an invitation to join? Oh,
Sarah just took over.
okay.
Just so you know, that is a Rhinebeck hummingbird.
Oh, Bill, you and your hummingbirds. So pretty.
That is a Rhinebeck Community Garden hummingbird.
Oh, thank you. Bill Kimball from the Daily Freedman. We're having, Joan, have you let them know? Okay, we'll just wait. Sorry, everybody, technical difficulties, but you can enjoy Bill's photo of the Rhinebeck Community Garden hummingbird. See what happens when you plant pollinator gardens. They come.
Great.
As a matter of fact, if you look closely at the beak, that is pollen on that beak.
It works, they pollinate.
You joined yourself.
Maybe you should put Bill on the CAC.
If he lived in Rhinebeck, I'd have him roped in, Sally.
Okay, what has to happen now?
They have to, they got a pop-up, they got to join off the pop-up.
Elizabeth,
Yes,
you need to join off of the pop-up.
okay.
A
On,
pop-up message?
Did you get a pop-up message?
nope, is it in the chat box?
No, it should have just been on the screen.
Nope, don't have
No.
it.
Josh and I are both in.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you. Chauncey, Ed, and I aren't.
There was a little, I just saw a little thing that disappeared, join breakout room.
Yeah,
The bar at the bottom. Click on that.
Yes, that's what you want.
breakout, yeah.
It's not what we're used to, right, way down at the bottom.
No,
4 little
Nothing there.
squares. If
Oh,
you move your
4 little
person's hand,
squares.
it should bring it up.
Okay, 4 little squares on the bottom. Got it.
Over there.
oh,
We did it differently this time.
It's not allowing me to join. Sorry.
You're the only one left out, Elizabeth.
I know. Look,
Everybody else is there.
I'm fine.
Elizabeth, how about, wait, is there a join?
No, it just says stop recording,
No.
pause recording, and breakout rooms. And when I click,
Click on breakout rooms. You see who's in the breakout room?
yes, I do.
You see where to the right of room 1, it says join?
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay. Well, we can have our own.
Success.
meeting.
The board's gone, let's party.
Okay, Joan, you're the town clerk. You can take over.
Oh, no. Not at all.
So if I heard correctly, one of the board members said to get to the room, they have to go to the bar. Oh,
Wow.
bar at the bottom, I get it.
They may never
Or at
get
the
back.
bottom of the screen.
I get it. I'm sorry.
Bill, how many years have you been reporting on Rhinebeck stories here?
Since 1991.
Oh, God bless you. You were just a baby then.
Oh, thanks. That's a lot of town supervisors.
I bet, sure.
I think we should ask Bob to pick up a guitar and play for a while.
I was just gonna say, let's sing a song.
No, you do not. Well, you don't want to hear me sing, for sure.
Well, if we all sing together, no one will know the difference.
Oh, that's what the mute button is for me.
So Bob, you play those guitars behind you? You're on,
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
you do? I'll play us a song then.
No, I'm not ready to play a song.
Oh, play anything.
How are you, Sally?
I'm great, thank you. We're hoping that we could call on you when the committee gets busy talking about our roads. I think,
No problem.
yeah, you'll be a great asset for that
Oh.
piece.
Be my pleasure.
Thank you, thank you.
For those of us who are new to this phenomena, how long do they usually go away for?
Well, they're discussing names, so I'm not sure what that means.
Nothing.
Okay, we'll sit tight.
There's a Vanderbilt mansion hummingbird.
Ah. The
So-
first one was pretty. Go back to the first one. Did the first one have more color?
You're gonna make me work now, huh? Let's see.
I had lots of hummingbirds at my old property, and I haven't been able to get them here in the village.
Let's see, there's this one.
Oh, look at that. They're green. And, huh. It's funny, they'd be outside my window and they would attack each other. Yeah, but it didn't stop them from coming. They kept coming back and fighting with one another, fly away, come back again.
Yeah, they should be back pretty soon.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Okay.
That's Bob Wyatt. It's a town board meeting. They're in an executive session. We're waiting for them to come back.
Are you guys making any solution?
Oh, hopefully.
Hey, everybody, does anybody mind if I do a shameless plug for the Morton Memorial Library? I'm the director in Rhine Cliff. And with Bob having the guitars in the back, we actually have two musical events this week. On Thursday, we've got Benji Kaplan who's going to do a solo concert. And then on Friday, Richard's got his acoustic night. So if anybody needs some entertainment and some fun music, please come down to Morton. We'd love to have you.
Thursday, and what's the other date?
Thursday and Friday.
Friday, okay.
Yes.
So
What
go
time
ahead,
does
give your
the-
plug.
Thank you.
What-
Thank you. I hope.
What would be a shameful plug? If that's a shameless plug, what would be a shameful plug?
Now you got me thinking.
Burlesque night at the library.
Oh, that's next week. Sorry. I'm kidding. It's not.
Well, I'm going to be at the village trustee meeting tomorrow night. And I'm going for my daughter Elizabeth, who heads the Porch Fest event. And that's coming back to the village on September 24th. So
Oh, that's always a great event.
yeah, that'll be a great celebration, bringing the community together and enjoying music for an entire day. And there'll be food trucks and there'll be a grand finale at that fairgrounds parking lot, which is used during the day for people. So
That's great news.
yeah, it's nice that we can get back to our regular routines and community celebrations and activities, and hopefully at some point we'll be off the screen and be sitting in a room together for these meetings.
Here we go.
You're back.
Okay. It's like herding cats, which are my favorite animals. So we would like to appoint Jennifer Breslin, Reuben Liebenhaber, Joe Gelb, and Michael DeCola to the Citizens Committee. We looked at this and felt strongly that the town needed geographical representation. Not everybody from the RA5 or the RC5, and certainly not a committee of people from around Ackert Hook, Haggerty Hill, and Primrose Hill around Rockledge. So we've appointed Michael DeCola because he's a large landowner and an environmentalist, and he's in the RA10. We have appointed Joe Gelb because he's in Wynkoop. And we have appointed Reuben Liebenhaber, who also lives on Haggerty Hill. And we've appointed Jennifer Breslin, who's up in Winston. We are looking for people in the historic hamlet of Rhinecliff. We'd like Rhinecliff to be represented, and we'd like the northwest corner of Rhinebeck, sort of from 199 down River Road and Mount Rutson Road, Upper Hook Post Road area to be represented. And then the far east of the town, Pell's Road, White Schoolhouse Road. So anybody in that area who's interested in serving, please apply. Linda and Sally, you have 4 new members now. So with 6, you do have a quorum, you can start. And we're anticipating that we will be able to appoint 3 additional members at our special meeting. Yep.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth and the board. I did want to mention that Kara has, Kuehl has specific, very specialized background in sustainability. And I would just ask that you reconsider adding her because that expertise is going to be very critical in reviewing the comprehensive plan and obviously the goals that the town board has set forth for us.
Thank you. Anything else?
Elizabeth, do we need a resolution naming these people to the committee?
I
We
think
have one.
we opened the
It's in the packet.
resolution. I named the names. Joan's gonna fill them in and now we vote.
Right. There's a
on-
resolution in the packet with a blank for the names.
Yes,
Right.
and
That's what I meant. We need the vote.
yes, we do need the vote. All in favor of appointing Jennifer Breslin, Ruben Liebenhaber, Michael DeCola, and Joe Gelb.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Resolution 2022-107, amendments to the cemetery rules and regulations. May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Ed.
Second.
Thanks, Alan. Any discussion, any questions? I know Suzanne is here. The only question I had is why March 15th for the removal of holiday decorations?
Suzanne?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi.
Go ahead.
We just thought a little bit earlier. Hi, everyone. We normally start removing them a little bit earlier than that anyway. So we just thought it's really sort of in keeping with the practice. It just seems like a late date.
March seems late to me, but if you guys are
Well,
okay. with
April
it.
seemed really late, so we're pushing it to March. It's just that sometimes there's still snow on the ground and we can't expect people to go out and get their stuff. So we do
Sure.
need to kind of have it that late.
Okay,
April seems really late.
okay, looked fine to me. Does anybody else have any questions about the change in rules? Okay, all in favor to the amendments to the rules of the cemetery? Aye.
Aye.
Any against or opposed? It passes unanimously. Thanks, Suzanne. I need a motion for 2022-108 for appointments to the Workforce Housing Committee. May I have a motion? Thanks, Josh. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Chauncey. This resolution has Dodd Crane and Chris Lipscomb being reappointed, but we have not heard from Chris Lipscomb yet. So I'd like to motion that it is just to appoint Dodd Crane. May I have a second on the amendment to the resolution?
Second.
Thanks. And then if we hear from Chris, we can add him. Although I did want more representation on the committee from people who could qualify for workforce housing. We have an application forthcoming from a graduate student who lives here in Rhinebeck. It's his residence, and an artist who lives here in Rhinebeck. So let's see what happens, and we can do it either at our special meeting or in May. I don't want to get the special meeting too clogged up. All in favor of appointing Dodd Crane again to the Workforce Housing Committee?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Passes unanimously. Dodd, thank you. And I want to say it was an oversight. That reappointments weren't rolled over was an oversight in the reorg with the change in the clerk's office. So thank you for stepping up again. Okay, I need a motion for resolution 2022-109 for highway expenditure additional funds.
Motion.
Thanks, Ed. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alan. I need to motion some amendments from the floor on this. I would like to amend this to say resolve that the town board agrees to modify the approved 2022 budget of the town road improvement line agreement by adding $124,077 from our 2021 CHIPS Consolidated Highway Improvement Plan funding of $130,653.96 as follows. Basically, guys, I'm taking the CHIPS money that we got last year and spreading it out onto paving. For the public, paving has gone up about 30% with the increase in oil. So petroleum and labor is up, and we want to be able to stick to our same paving schedules. We have the money, we got it from CHIPS, we want to apply it to these roads. So budget line 0030452 263 Knollwood, the current allotment is 110,000. I'd like to add an additional 32,750 for a new total of $143,750 for budget line 00304512237 Frost Road with current budget of $55,380. I would like to add an additional $18,845 for a new total of $74,225 for budget line 00304512238 Wurtemberg Road for a current budgeted of $147,125. I'd like to add an additional $45,357 for a new total of $192,482. And the last roads 00304512239 are Delano, Reeder, and Libra, $85,500, an addition of $27,125 for a new total of $115,625. Joan, did you get all that? Okie dokie. May I have a vote on the amendment to the resolution? All in favor of the passes unanimously, and we have the open resolution. All in favor of the resolution amending the funds.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, Bob, we took care of that. Thanks for paving.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will make, or I need a motion for 022-110 for Kearney Construction Hamlet at Rhinebeck, our workforce housing plan. May I have a motion?
So
I will
moved.
make, oh, thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alan. This for the public is accepting the application by Kearney Realty and Development Group and the Housing Partnership Development Corporation for a zoning map amendment pursuant to Chapter 25, Article 5, Section 125-64.4 of the Town Code, exercising a legislative act to rezone property located between Astor Drive and Rhinecliff Road, State Route 85, at TMP, et cetera, and to begin the review process for our workforce housing development. Is there any discussion? For the public, what we're doing, we do have an application in front of us by Carding Building for 80 units of workforce housing. It's a development of 4 buildings between Wells Manor and Route 308. Actually, I caught we'll come back to this. I caught a mistake in here. Let's amend this to State Route 308, not 85, Joan. And we are going to be referring this application, which we've deemed complete, to go to the Planning Board and our Workforce Housing Committee for review and comments. Would anybody like to add anything else? Any questions from the board? All in favor of accepting the workforce housing plan and referring it to the Planning Board and Workforce Housing Committee?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you. This is a big deal for us. So we look forward to this, and the plans will be posted on our town website as well. I will make a motion for 2022-111, our preliminary accounts payable abstracts. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ed. Is there any discussion or any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. I will make a motion for 2022-112 for our capital projects abstract. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alan. Are there any questions or any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We have on here 2 discussion items for rezoning of our ORP district, permitting cell tower usage and limiting access for that district for development to only Route 9G. And we also have on here for the public our community amendment to solar portion of our code. We did not expect to have accepting resolutions ready today, so we wanted to give the public as much notice as possible that we will be putting these 2 local laws through the process. We will be accepting them at our next special meeting on the 21st at 5 p.m. With our, I'm sorry, our, not our secret, what are we, our, brain freeze, we'll be going through the process to begin the local law adoption for our zoning amendment. And again, these are 2 local laws. One allows a cell tower as a use to the office park overlay, the ORP district, and restricts cars to that portion only from Route 9. So it does not allow cars into the ORP on Middle Road or any of the other rural roads abutting it. The second law is an amendment to our community solar law and the solar portion of our code. So we have published these, everyone can become familiar with them, and we will start the adoption process at our next meeting when we accept the local laws. Any questions or comments from the board? Our next discussion item, I guess, is to say that the town plans on using our $336,000 in ARPA, American Rescue Plan funding, to create clean air workspace, create and renovate our town hall for clean air and personal office space at town hall. We've received 2 comments and we're still looking for comments from the public on any other ideas, but that's where we are.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing. I've been talking informally to the village, and what I'm going to do is go to the next village board meeting and propose that they appoint someone to work with me to go around and look at office space requirements that we both have, particularly in the area of the court system, so that we can look at sharing space with the village for the court offices and the court rooms, given that both buildings have both. And we don't need 2 courtrooms within 100 yards of one another. So that we'll look at what the space requirements are, and then once that's done, we'll look at where space would be available, including outside of either hall.
Thank you. So again, $536,000 in American Rescue Plans to renovate and add office space at town hall, and an initiative with the village to look at sharing court space for the village court and the town court. And we're still accepting comments from the public on ideas for the ARPA funds, but that's what we're leaning. That's what our big thinking of. I guess the other noise ordinance and gas powered leaf blowers, it's the town hall. We've had Rudy, who's here, has had some very, I got tired all of a sudden. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Very well-founded complaints of a neighbor issue with constant leaf blowing. There are 2 issues here from us. One is that gasoline leaf blowers exceed our decibel. And 2 is, do we want to legislate for a neighbor on neighbor complaint? So I'm just raising it for discussion. Do any of you have input, town board?
Well, Just in terms of the email exchange this morning, it seems like something happened today in terms of a letter being issued by Michael Trimble. Does that help? Does it hurt? Is it progress? Don't know. Just trying to follow up with it.
If we were going to amend our law, I would be in favor of amending it to, my personal feeling is I think it's an overstep of local government to ban leaf blowers, gasoline powered leaf blowers and lawn implements. I know the state is looking at it. They can be phasing them out as early as 2027. Personally, it's not something I'm interested in taking on, even though I'm personally against them. I just think it's too much of a hardship for many people. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
The only thing, I agree with you, Elizabeth. The only thing I might add is that we could restrict the hours when they could be used so that people aren't hearing leaf blowers at dinner
Right.
time or
Yeah.
at breakfast time.
Maybe the amount of hours too.
All right, if that's something you want to take on, then like I would appoint a committee of the town board to work with Jim Levy. And are we going to do this town-wide or only in the historic hamlet of Rhinecliff and neighborhood overlay areas? I live on 12 acres. I never hear anybody. Is it necessary to restrict it here? How do you all want to handle that?
Why don't we talk about it?
Yeah, let's discuss. Let's discuss.
And if there's any input from any of the residents, we'd like to hear that too. I'd be happy to speak to the other members of the board and come up with a proposal.
Chauncey, how do you feel about this?
I think the idea of getting a small committee to work on it is a good one. This is the tough one. I don't know if there's an answer, but we should try.
To limit hours in certain areas of the town where there's a higher density?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think so.
We need somebody to really look at it. I would remind everybody that the town of East Opposite gave up on this by a 4-to-1 vote, decided they simply could not adopt a resolution that would, a law that enact a law that would make sense in this area. It's a really difficult thing.
They were doing a noise ordinance. We would be looking to ban
Hours.
leaf blowers, lawn mowers, chainsaws in high density areas during certain hours.
And there may be other ways to approach this as well. I had what it might be kind of a kooky idea earlier today, which I put in an email. Maybe we should limit the use of leaf blowers to their original use, which was to blow leaves together in the fall when leaves are falling. They're now used for everything, including, I've seen them used to blow light snowfalls off of driveways. You know,
I just think it's an overstep and we have no way of enforcing it. So we're going to write a law that we're not going to be able to enforce. That's my 2 cents.
And that's a difficult issue.
So who on the town board wants to be on this committee? I guess Alan and Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start by talking to Jim Levy and find out what's possible.
Oh boy, more to come, people. This
By
is
the
going to
way,
be
somebody's
fun.
blowing leaves right outside.
now.
Town.
Constantly.
That's the village of
What?
Rhinebeck. We have nothing.
Okay. Elizabeth, I think you accidentally skipped the short-term rental item.
Oh no, how could I have done that?
I don't know.
This
Freudian slip?
Here's another controversial thing. So COVID is, certainly not where it was 2 years ago. We put this issue on hold during COVID because we knew that people were having a very difficult time financially, stresses of needing to get out of the city, and it just didn't seem like a good time to take on allowing the use of short-term rentals in Rhinebeck. They are currently illegal in our town, even though we have the second amount of any municipality right behind the city of Beacon. So we would be looking at a law to allow them under certain very possibly restrictive uses. Certainly the board, when we left this off, we were not in favor of real estate investors or speculators buying private homes to rent out. We were not in favor of people having vacation homes that were also short-term rentals. Short-term rentals are residential homes, and then they become a commercial use. So I think we ended up that we were in favor of people whose domicile it was being able to rent them out for a certain period of time. I think we were in favor of people who domiciles had accessory dwellings to be able to rent those out, with the idea that one would be the best enforcer of her own property and its use. And I think that we were in favor of looking at agritourism and wedding event Airbnbs, because that's a big economic driver of our town, but certainly not in favor of the proliferation of Airbnbs that we're getting. And anecdotally from our building department and our code enforcement officer, our zoning enforcement officer, they're getting dozens of calls a week from people who are buying houses and want to rent them out as Airbnbs. So we are going to take this up, and we know it's challenging. Red Hook has passed a law, other towns are doing it, and we feel like we want to protect the integrity of our town and our housing stock and the livability of our town. It's just a discussion item to let everybody know we'll be talking about it and moving forward with a law. Okay, I think we've saved the best for last. Tennis courts to be striped for pickleball. Now, I don't know that we're taking comment from the public on this. Dodd, we got your petition with 60 names, about 40 residents, or 2/3 of them were residents. We've gotten emails from people who are pro tennis. I think to me, the most interesting thing that I learned was the difference in etiquette between tennis and pickleball, that the pickleballers tend to sit on the courts while the tennis people are playing. We have 2 courts striped now, and do we want to keep 2 courts or go to 4? Chauncey?
You summarized it very nicely. We have, to repeat part of what you just said, we have 4 courts, 4 tennis courts. 3 years ago, we striped 2 of them to allow pickleball to be played along with tennis on 2 courts. Now, in connection with the resurfacing project, which is mostly Ed's project, he's been doing the lion's share of the work. The question is, when we resurface these courts, do we lay down stripes for both sports on all 4 courts, or do we continue as we now have with 2 courts available for tennis only, 2 courts available for both sports? To me, I think that the equities are very similar. The tennis players find it distracting to have pickleball players around, and the opposite is true as well. I think it's a very similar thing. To me, this is a matter of what is fair. Is it fair for the tennis players to have access to 4 courts and the pickleball players to have access to only 2 courts? I do not think it is fair. I think that all 4 courts should be available for both sports. Now, on the subject of public comment, Elizabeth, I think we've created the impression, I certainly have, because I understood this to be the case, that we were going to take comments from the public on this.
I don't think so. I think this is for us to decide. I think we've heard everything we need, and personally, you know, I don't know.
But that hasn't been the impression that we've allowed to be created. I think you ought to at least let Dodd ask if he may make comments.
I'd like to hear, the other thing I'd like to add is we're looking at building pickleball courts. I went down today and we could put them in very easily where the volleyball is, and that doesn't seem to be well. There's sand from the volleyball court all over the courts that abuts them. Alan, what are your
Sand
feelings?
does blow through the fence, and of course, this is an issue for tennis and pickleball both. The area that I looked at about a week ago was about 20 feet by 20 feet blown through. It didn't reach the back line of the tennis court, which is good, but nevertheless, that sand there is dangerous.
Yeah, it was there today.
It was a windy day.
Yeah, it was.
You know, here's my 2 cents. I haven't seen any data at all that says what the demand is. I mean, we could easily say, let's have an equality by having 2 of each. 2 pickleball courts that are dedicated and 2 tennis courts that are dedicated. Do we need 2 each, or we need 4 each? Do we need 17 each? Show me the data. Show me how many players are there and what they're playing.
It's very difficult to get at that, Alan, because of the nature of our website for the reservations, and we do need to improve that.
Yeah, I know.
I, however, do not think it would be fair to the tennis players to make 2 courts dedicated to tennis and 2 to pickleball without tennis being allowed to be played. I don't think that would be fair to the tennis players.
Well, what about the point that there are more public pickleball courts than there are tennis courts in the Statsburg, Rhinebeck, Red Hook area?
Is it true? And do you want our people going elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, what I've heard from pickleball, we have people from Milan and Clinton playing on our courts, but there are 4 dedicated pickleball courts in Statsburg and 4 in Red Hook. And I think.
How about letting Dodd speak for a minute, Elizabeth, please?
I wasn't sure. Absolutely. Go ahead, Dodd. You're on mute.
Unmute yourself.
We still can't hear you.
Up your volume.
Got the volume on?
Still can't hear you.
No. No.
Try your volume, Dodd.
Yeah, instead of, there's a little up arrow next to the mute button, push that. And go to test speaker and microphone.
Let's come back to Dodd. Keep working on it.
Yeah, I have some new business.
You have new business.
Can you
Is
hear
that
me
all
now?
right? Let's do the, oh, yeah, yes, what did you do?
Just ran the test, and when the test completed, the audio returned.
Pretty good for a former
Yeah.
computer guy. I love it.
Well,
Okay, briefly, Dodd, please. We've all heard both sides, so I'll give you a couple of minutes.
I'll be brief. I just have a few comments. Just one correction. There are 3 courts in Statsburg, 4 in Red Hook. A number of the people I know who live in Rhinebeck all play on the other courts because they consider the courts here difficult to visualize where the ball is landing. You all know the sport is growing rapidly because it's easy to learn. It's very social and very, very good gathering among larger groups that when we get together, everybody has a good time. And it's also particularly appealing to aging population, which we have in Rhinebeck. I'm sympathetic to some of the noise issues that tennis players have, but I've talked to the pickleballers and they say, yeah, the tennis balls come flying over in our court and they're noisy too. So I personally consider that.
Dodd, do pickleball players sit on the courts and rotate in and out?
That is true in the past. I talked to one person who indicated that they waited on the edge of the court, I think primarily because they were concerned about being able to get a court. And just so for those of you who haven't witnessed larger pickleball installations, say in Cape Cod or California, that's the milieu of the way pickleball works. You're waiting for courts. And since we don't have a sign-up system or any organized way to really schedule courts, I don't think.
Hold on one second. Carrie, do we have a way to schedule courts on MyRec?
You do.
Yes, we do. Yep.
So maybe we should implement a sign up, like in, I don't know what the proper blocks are. Is it an hour or an hour and a half or?
And the high school too.
I'm sorry?
Well, the high school plays down there. All
Yeah.
their meets
They
are
do,
down there.
yes, and they practice there as well.
Well, they're gonna have to, it's an issue with us.
It's a scheduling issue.
Whole
It's another
aside.
issue. Right now, I'm saying it's a scheduling issue.
Nightmare.
I think Josh, Dodd will come back to you, but Josh, why don't you and Chauncey work with Carrie to come up with a scheduling system for the courts?
That's
And
fair.
it'll be pickleball and tennis scheduling,
Then
and
we'll know, then we'll know what the demand is.
people will, pickleball is growing, but according to national demand, it's still only a quarter of what tennis is. I
Right.
know it's increasing, but we don't know what it is here. I agree, we're an aging population. My knees can't do anything anymore. I'm lucky if, but
The ratio of tennis players to pickleball players may be, as you said, it may be similar or different here, but that's true of the ratio of courts too.
okay, well, and we are planning on adding dedicated pickleball courts.
Yes, we are.
Yes, that will,
We're committed to that. Yes, Dodd.
Todd's got a question.
Yep.
that'll really make a big difference.
Sorry, I circuitously, I cut you off, but.
On a comment on the data I've presented pickleball data relative to Rhinebeck, so I think the data is there expressing the Rhinebeck demand, but you can also get a sense of the demand in the Red Hook, Rhinebeck, Kingston, Baird Park locations pretty easily by going to a tool called Playtime Scheduler, where currently the pickleball community sponsors scheduling for all of those sites. It's not a guaranteed court reservation system. It's an expression of who wants to play when at a particular location. If you looked at Statsburg, I think it was today, it's listed as Rhinebeck, but it's actually Statsburg courts. They have 3 courts. They had 17 people playing there today. So that's right in our backyard. And I think Setsko Ellsworth, if she's still on, she knows a bunch of those people are Rhinebeckans. So there is a.
I am.
Setsko, you might want to comment on the Rhinebeck.
We've heard, not to cut it off, I understand there's a pro pickleball side and a pro tennis side, but ultimately it's a decision the town board has to make. Do you guys want to put it off?
We're providing you data. You asked.
Yes, but there's also no data for tennis. Tennis does not have the same scheduling online that pickleball does.
Yeah, you can reserve a tennis court quite readily here.
No, what I've heard is that this app is for pickleball players and tennis players do not do it.
2 different apps. If you go on the town rec park site, you can schedule the tennis courts for either pickleball or tennis using the Rhinebeck scheduler through and that's should be a firm reservation.
So we do reserve the court.
May I finish?
I'm asking a question, and I honestly, you did write all of this to us. This is in your letter to us, so I feel like we're repeating it.
All right.
We do have a way to schedule tennis courts, Carrie, and they are being scheduled. Okay, so there's nothing to look at. We have what can you tell us what the policy is?
People are supposed to reserve for either tennis or pickleball. The one problem that I do see with it is that they don't always specify which they are reserving it for. So if you're really looking for accurate data, you're not going to get that through the MyRec site.
But there's
because
no
some people
enforcement. There's no enforcement or tracking in this. Obviously, it has to get worked out when 2 people show up for the same court, or right? Like, is it that specific?
Right. They're supposed to reserve a court. I suspect, I don't know for sure, but I suspect that people don't always reserve and just show up. Yes.
Can we work with MyRec to see if there's a way that you have to answer the tennis or pickleball field before your reservation's confirmed?
Sure, I can talk to them about
You
that.
gotta give us some more data.
There's got to be an app for that.
I'll speak with them about it.
And do we reserve it in 1 hour blocks or 2 hour blocks?
1 hour.
I think it's 1.
Yeah, they can reserve for 1 hour.
What would we do, Elizabeth, for technical help? I suspect we're going to have to make changes to the website to make it
Well,
work. and
Carrie
make-
will do it on my rec, and if you don't have a
My
court
rec,
reserved,
too.
you can be
Okay.
bumped off.
Alan just volunteered.
No, I didn't.
We need-
Okay, Alan,
we need 3 MIT degrees on this.
I only manage software development. I don't do it.
what do you guys want to do about this? Do you want to take a pulse now? Do you want to wait?
When are we gonna do the resurfacing?
That's coming up. in the
Question.
fall. Working on that, July or September, right? We have to
Yes.
decide that.
It's in the,
Because-
ideally, it's in the fall, right?
You can't do it too late when it's too cold. That's what we did the
Right.
last time and it
Yeah.
cracked.
Right. He
So
said he
you-
could do it up 50 degrees and up. That's it.
So I wouldn't want to go past September
No.
because you
Really.
can,
We
I'd
do
rather-
have a policy question. They can't get to us until July, so we do have time to deal with the issue we've been discussing. The question is, and I would like to know what people think. I'm sorry, Elizabeth, I know.
you can do, it's your meeting too. You're one of 5.
I'd like to know what the tennis/pickleball players community would prefer, that we do it in July or we do it in September, because when we do it, we will have to be shut down for, we're told, 10 days. Ed and I are thinking, yeah, nothing ever happens on time. So we're saying 10 days to 2 weeks.
Right.
July or September, folks?
Yeah,
Well, there's only 2 people here.
I know.
Well,
And no
Well,
tennis.
comment, if you're gonna, from the, representing a community of 1 or 2, Setzco's
Yeah.
here too. If you do the resurfacing in September, but you have by then committed to construct dedicated pickleball courts, I'm not sure you need to do any striping. If you
This
commit
is
to-
a separate question, Dodd.
No,
When
we
do you
can't.
not want to play pickleball? In
Right.
July or September?
Yeah, that's the question.
And tennis, it affects both.
September.
You want it done in September?
Sounds good.
No, I
Well,
think-
no, Setzco, what do you think? I actually probably July, the sooner the better, if you're not gonna commit to do courts next year, and if you're gonna commit to do courts next year, don't bother to do it at all.
That's fine. Yes, I
think
do
we
agree.
have- I'm sorry, let's go.
No,
Please go ahead.
I do agree, do it early, because this way we get to enjoy it. And besides, the current condition, particularly one of the
It's bad.
closest to the fence,
Yeah.
that's very poor condition and it's very slippery. And,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree.
we would rather have that one done right away.
I agree. I think we should have done it.
Okay, I would ask that, Ed and Chauncey, please just write, there's 3 people who represent the tennis community. You know who they are. Just
Yeah.
tell them we're thinking about July. What do they think? I agree. Let's get it done sooner. Here's what I would say. If we're going to build pickleball courts next year, I would still advocate for striping some pickleball courts. And I would just pay to have them repainted when we have the new pickleball courts. I don't really think it's just for a couple of $1,000s. Why wouldn't we? Like, why not? It'll be okay. We can do it all. So maybe, we redo the courts in July and we commit to building pickleball courts in the
Right.
fall, and still do some pickleball courts until the new courts are built. Then once the new ball courts are built, I would advocate for repainting and everything out of the tennis courts and making them pristine. That's just me.
There
I
you
think
go.
it's a sensible approach. There may be other things to think about, but sure. And we'll
Right,
know a lot more. as we get-
Chauncey's working on a plan to find out how much pickleball cost. I think they should go where I have a vision for the layout. We'd have to get it approved by the planning board, but I think they should go where the volleyball court is. And, Chauncey will have word for us in a couple of weeks on ballpark and schedule for putting pickleball courts in, so everybody can be happy.
That would be great.
Great.
Yeah,
Miracle.
That's good.
Good luck.
Dinah, don't laugh at me. Okay, does that
What's
sound
the date for universal happiness? When are we targeting that?
universal happiness?
The date we're targeting for universal happiness is
Is
before the end of this year?
immediately.
Perfect.
Universal happiness starts now.
Now,
But you will be happy.
All right.
Just to that end, not to be the guy, but if there's a minimum inscription for 2 pickleball courts, Chauncey, let me know. I'll take a look at it, see if it fits. Because
Yeah,
Elizabeth has a good point. There
Talking about the
is,
location?
Yeah,
well, not so much location. She has a good point. There's like kind of a missing chunk of, anyway, talk tomorrow, not this one.
Let's go look at the map, Chauncey. I'll show you what I'm thinking. I went down there and pasted out today.
is
All
that,
right.
is that,
Pickleball courts are coming, folks.
The
okay,
rule
how-
of thumb
That's
is that you put 2 courts, 2 dedicated pickleball courts where 1 tennis court would go, if that helps anybody.
I think we could fit
In
2 or
what
3 in.
population? 10,000, 20,000, a million?
Oh, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna put them in the space that we have. If we have
How many-
extra pickleball courts, we'll be pickleball rich.
How many piano tuners are required for Chicago?
Oh, Josh,
I give up.
okay, that's enough.
I'm fading.
I know. We talked about rezoning and we talked about short-term rentals and we did our first workforce housing plan, but the pickleball is killing us. We appointed citizens to our committee, but the pickleball is gonna do us in.
Who would have
It
thought?
makes perfect sense, actually.
Well, you know,
So did we lose Annie Butler?
I don't know. I don't even know who Annie Butler, I don't.
She was on the phone. She was a 202 number. Anyway.
All right, we have, I think it was the pickleball. But anyway, Dodd, Suzuko, we hear you, we understand. We're moving towards building more. If we build them, we'll still give you pickleball courts in the interim. At least this is what I support. And then I support repainting them back so that it's pristine, not just
Thank you.
painting out lines.
Excellent.
I think we
Sounds
can
good.
solve this.
Yep.
Chauncey, does that make you happier?
Oh, yeah, you said this is universal happiness begins now, and I'm.
Yeah,
Dodd,
with you.
thanks for letting me cut you off for the presentation.
thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
okay, thanks. Thank you for coming. Alan has new business.
yes, what I'm proposing is a resolution to set the recreation fees for this year. Basically, I passed that, I sent you all of the proposed
Yeah.
fees earlier today.
Yeah.
Just to zip through them.
Here, let's just share them. I think I have them. Alan, why don't you share them? I don't know how to share. I don't know how to.
Can't share because I'm not a host.
All right, well, everybody received it. Do we need to pass this today? Can we pass it at our next meeting?
Well,
21st.
the request was to pass it today so we could open.
Okay.
enrollment.
I think we need to do it.
Okay, Manta Ray Swim Team, residents 150, non-residents 185. Pool season passes, individual residents 100, residents family 225, resident senior 50. Non-residents are double that. Pool day passes, resident adults $8, non-resident adults $10, resident student 6, non-resident student 10, resident senior 6, non-resident senior 10, residents after 5, non-residents after 5, 10. Camp residents are 125 child per week, non-residents are 250 per child per week. Swim lessons, 2-week sessions, residents $100 per child, non-residents 200.
Sorry, Elizabeth, it's for camp is residents 175 per child per week.
Did I say that?
You said 125.
I knew, I get numbers confused sometimes.
Okay.
And
Just
then
joking.
the other point to make is these are exactly the fees we had last year.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask.
And we don't
Thanks,
think,
Alan.
all right, let's just cover it. COVID, everybody's, we're happy to have kids back, camp open.
Right.
We're gonna have, well, hopefully we'll have delicious, non-nutritious food at our concession stand, ice cream, soda, everyone will be happy.
Hot dogs.
We will have all of that. My only question is,
Hold on.
Okay.
Motion to pass these recreation fees.
So move.
Alan, may I have a second?
Okay.
Thanks. Did you want to make an amendment to this, Carrie, or something else?
It's just a question about this, about the fees.
Okay.
do we want to offer any sort of discount for families?
This is what we're sticking with for
We're
right
sticking
now.
with this. Okay,
Thank
got
you.
it. Thank you so much for doing that. I can
Of
post that
course.
and get it up by the end of the week.
Get it up by the end of the week.
I will
All
do.
in favor for the recreation fees?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
There
Any
you go.
more new business before the board? Any questions from the public on any non-agenda items?
Done.
Did I understand earlier that you thought you hadn't heard from Chris Lipscomb relative to workforce housing?
Yes.
I just forwarded to you, Elizabeth, and to Joan, an email where he said, I'm in. It was dated last Friday. I got it. You were both addressed on it, but it might have gotten lost in the shuffle.
No, I didn't receive it. So let's make a motion I'll make a motion to reappoint Chris Lipscomb to the Workforce Housing Committee. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of second, I'll take Josh. All in favor of appointing Chris Lipscomb? Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Joan, you got that? Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks,
Yep.
Doug. Sally?
Yes, for that moment of happiness. I'd
You just
like,
passed us.
I'd like to ask the board to consider Linda's request that you reconsider Carrie for the committee. Both Linda and I spent time talking to her and encouraging her to apply for the committee. She's unique in terms of her expertise in sustainability, which is going to play an important role in the work that we do. And I think she'd be a tremendous resource to us. So
All right,
I
we
ask
will reconsider and we'll discuss it in our next executive session. When
Okay.
we get, I hear you, I understand you. And this committee has nothing to do with Red Wing, and she certainly has stellar credentials.
No, 100%. It's just this issue of equanimity around the town. And there's a lot of stuff focused on that particular part of the town.
And there's an anti-Rockledge sentiment that personally I'm concerned about. Because this isn't about Rockledge.
Right, I understand that. And that was made very, very clear to her, and she understands that.
Okay, maybe she can represent Rhine Cliff, since we can't seem to get anyone from there. And if she, I mean,
Maybe
I
she
love,
can vote.
what, yeah, I mean, I hear you, Sally, and I did take Linda's request to heart, and I figured we'd reconvene on the 21st.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure. Anything from anybody else? Eleanor, Nina, thanks for coming. Vicky. Okay, hearing nothing, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Good night, everybody. Thanks
Night,
for joining us.
everybody.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Bye, thank you.
Is Josh? Josh, can you hear me?
I
Oh,
can't. What did I do wrong to deserve this, Bill?
nothing. This is a slow pitch, gravity pitch softball. On the pedestrian walk.
Yes.
Yes.
The question I couldn't answer right 3 times in a row.
Yeah, you're having a long day. You want to kill the
Yeah.
recording, Joan?
No, it's fine, Bill. This is actually, I can handle this.
No, but I mean, she can kill the recording because